Greetings all, welcome back to Xenonauts. And of course this is another Xenopedia read-through, but it's also a little bit more than that. I've decided at this point that since it's like, I've got two bases here and I'm like managing my troops a whole lot more, there's going to be a whole lot of downtime basically where I'm basically having to go around and make these guys basically do a lot of stuff. And part of thinking here, I'm going to have to basically start thinking about how I'm going to manage my guys here. And all that. So I'm thinking about maybe I'll start combining base management stuff, elements of base management into doing a little bit into the Xenopedia read-throughs and not just leave it alone as part of our actual episode. So you basically get more content of combat and stuff happening, gameplay elements. But anyhow, before we get into that, I'm going to jump into Xenopedia and we'll read through that stuff and then we'll get into all that. Alright, so, Ilium Warheads. This low-grade Ilium can also be used to upgrade the missiles carried by our interceptors. This process was slightly more involved, as our anti-air warheads rely on armor penetration as much as explosive force. Nonetheless, we have been successful, and as the new warheads can be fitted to our existing rocket engines, we have already upgraded your interceptors accordingly. The required armor penetration is achieved by fitting a small laser mirror to the top of the alien block. This fires in a predetermined pattern, which can be changed to allow us to shape and focus the explosive charge in any direction that we choose. With no time to conduct extensive studies on the effectiveness of different charge patterns, we instead just ensure that the energy from the blast is focused forwards rather than wastefully radiating in all directions. Crude, but perhaps certainly functional. The Alien missile is a direct replacement for the Sidewinder light air-to-air missile, whilst the Alien torpedo replaces the heavy Avalanche torpedo. The latter is a powerful weapon, well suited to dealing with delivering alien craft without the speed or agility to avoid it. The former, a fast missile that inflicts less damage but is more likely to hit alien vessels. In both cases, the upgrades are just straightforward warhead swaps, so this should not dictate any major change in aerial tactics beyond making our engagements a little easier. So yeah, new missile warheads that'll be used to basically flatten the enemy's extraterrestrial UFOs. Alright, alien interrogation. Without the ability to communicate with our extraterrestrial attackers, there can be no peace. This war could only end with extinction of one side, genocide on a galactic scale. It is therefore helpful that study of our captive has yielded the secret of alien communication. Extraterrestrials have atrophied vocal cords because they communicate via radio telepathy rather than verbally. An alien word is in fact just a short burst of radio waves. Energy intensive but effective. We have been able to construct 1 billion alien vocabulary by using our lab transceiver to record radio transmissions from our captive and repeating them back in various combinations. Study of the responses by our resident cryptographers deciphered the meanings of several, allowing us to conduct a basic conversation for a captive and expand on our understanding still further. Though I care not for such trifles, our work here has created an entirely new scientific discipline, making me the father of xenolinguistics. So basically he's the father of alien language. It is a shame that our captive proved such a terrible conversationalist, endlessly repeating a quest for new orders and refusing to engage on any other subject. Interestingly, it seemed happy to thoughtlessly follow simple orders issued by my team, such as moving across its cell. Eventually, once it had become clear that no more could be gained from crushing the creature, one of my team handed it a pistol in order to kill itself. It promptly complied, sparring its brains across half the containment tank. It seems the alien soldiers are just mindless thralls. I suppose we will need to capture an alien officer if we are able to get answers we seek. Oh, and before you get too excited, reproducing the suicidal effect on the battlefield is completely impractical. It requires a stationary target and a laboratory full of equipment. So yeah, these guys are basically mindless thralls. The guys we're facing, they have no minds really of their own. And, they basically make this guy kill himself in the lab. Alright, Xenonaut weapons. Alien explosives. The majority of alien found inside wrecked UFOs has been run through the vessel's reactor, making it little use as a fuel. This low-grade Alien only contains enough power to run an extraterrestrial device for a few minutes, whereas fresh Alien can do so for hours at a time. However, it turns out there's another use for this relatively abundant low-grade Alien: explosives. The amount of energy held in a depleted Alien is usually still appreciably higher than is contained in the equivalent weight of TNT. My team has therefore been able to produce improved designs for the high explosive rockets and grenades issued to our soldiers, replacing the explosives with alien charges that is up to 50% more powerful than conventional munitions. Given the ample availability of the Constitution's parts, these can be manufactured and issued to our soldiers in effective unlimited numbers. Your men seem pressed. They spent so long testing new devices that firing range requires structural repairs. The principle behind these devices is simple. The explosive is a block of alien that dumps all its energy into the surrounding air when triggered. The warhead on a rocket is sufficiently large that it will generate a sizable explosion, but the grenade also employs a steel casing that fragments into a deadly cloud of metal shards on detonation. However, be aware that these alien weapons will inflict as much damage on extraterrestrial equipment as on the aliens themselves. Aliens killed with explosives are unlikely to leave a corpse behind, let alone recoverable items. So, yeah, basically they'll explode and do the same thing our usual explosives do. Water. And we have to get the wolf armor, but we'll get to that soon. Alright, alien units. The season analysis. These pallid creatures are more disconcerting in the flesh, Commander. They are a twisted mockery of our own species, resembling us so closely that one cannot help but feel a creeping sense of revulsion when they stare into their malevolent eyes. In practical terms, a citizen is a superior approximation of a human soldier. They are highly intelligent, and are accorded excellent situational awareness by their oversized eyes. Their manual dexterity and reflex speed is much the same as our own. They behave much like human military forces, engaging at long range and making good use of battlefield cover. Despite their frail physiology, their equipment makes them difficult to kill. Even the ubiquitous jumpsuit offers remarkable protection and is supplemented with additional protective gear at higher ranks. Scans have revealed that the brain tissue of these creatures is unusually active, with samples taken during autopsies suggesting that they have extraordinarily rich energy-dense alien nanoparticles. As we have already established that these creatures communicate via telepathy, this hints at further, as yet unknown, mental abilities. Finally, we have concluded the analysis by collating all known vulnerabilities in seasoned equipment, tactics, and physiology into documents for your soldiers. This additional knowledge should increase the damage they inflict on these enemies by approximately 10%, so basically I do more damage, and there's not a whole lot to say about them, other than the fact that even with their relatively weak gear, it still provides some pretty good defensive qualities and such. The Light Drone Wreckage. The Light Drone is a small saucer-shaped drone approximately 140 centimeters wide, with a thruster array mounted on the rear of the saucer and sensors and weaponry in the front. It is capable of hovering, but is unusually sighted skimming the battlefield roughly a meter above the ground. This allows it to move freely over small obstacles or otherwise impassable terrain such as water. This assembly of recovered wreckage suggests that the heart of the drone is an alien reactor, no larger than a man's fist. We assume the massive alien circuitry that surrounds it is in fact the drone's circuitry brain. The lack of any visible receiver antennae suggests that these units are fully autonomous when operational. An engine array on the rear of the drone provides forward motion, while the hover effect, and probably pitch and roll, is generated by the dozen small thrusters that dot the underside of the drone. The frontal part of the saucer is filled with a powerful scanner that can monitor almost the entire electromagnetic spectrum, giving the drone excellent sight ranges. The drone is armed with an unusual integral weapon we have dubbed the burst cannon. The plasma generation array has been designed to emphasize rate of fire above all else, allowing it to fire extremely quickly, but leaving it underpowered even compared to the plasma pistol. A single shot would probably not even kill an unarmored civilian. As the shell of the drone itself is also not even thick enough to resist sustained small arms fire, I suspect that these units are disposable scout units primarily designed to locate and suppress enemies so accompanying aliens can deal with them more easily. A support role rather than a hunter-killer role, it seems. So basically, these guys are kind of like our like minigunners, except that they're capable of you know, hovering above the ground, and you know, they're good for suppressing stuff. So you have to take them out at range before getting close. All right, the Corvette. The Corvette is a medium-sized UFO. It is the first genuine alien warship we have encountered, exchanging the delicate wing-struck surfaces used by small UFOs as sensor amplifiers for sturdier hull construction and more powerful weapons. The armor plating on this craft is the same stuff as the lighter UFOs, but applied in greater quantities, adding enormous survivability at the cost of greatly increased weight. The large engines mounted on the rear vessel are enough to keep it airborne, but is slow and ponderous compared to the lighter craft that preceded it, and therefore vulnerable to heavy torpedoes. The power requirement of the engines necessitate both the second power core and an improved method of power transmission. The hull electronics are much more advanced than previously, so we have extracted them for further study. The primary armament of the Corvette is a forward-firing heavy plasma cannon. This has a slow rate of fire, but generates a powerful explosive projectile that is just as deadly when used to bomb ground targets as it is when used against aerial opponents. These projectiles travel relatively slowly, and you may find that our more agile interceptors are able to avoid them with an evasive roll maneuver. But they will inflict heavy damage on anything they hit. Be very careful about flying your interceptors into its firing arc. So yeah, this thing can hurt you. Alright. So alien technology. We picked up a couple things here. Alright, so Alien. Alien is the fundamental power source for all alien technology. It is translucent yellow material that resembles an amber in appearance and forms the core of alien power sources recently recovered. The rest of the device ultimately proving inconsequential. Blah. It doesn't matter what the other stuff, you know, connected to it is. Detailed analysis of Alenium's molecular structure reveals an incredibly dense atomic arrangement, allowing the material to store energy in quantities previously thought impossible. Despite this, the material remains inert and has a half-life of nearly 1 trillion years. It can be cracked if enough mechanical force is applied, but this will not cause any energy discharge. This can be explained by the exceptional stable arrangement of atomic chains, which also contain a clue as to how to unlock the energy trap within. Each chain contains regularly weak bonds that can be broken with precise application of energy. By specifically targeting and breaking these weak bonds with a laser, one can easily generate a controlled energy release of virtually any size. This leads us to believe that the Alenium is no more than an incredibly advanced alien battery. The molecular structure is not one that would occur naturally, nor contain any inherent energy of its own, but it makes a perfect method of storing the output for a far greater power source. As we have no way of recharging Alenium, and we will almost certainly be using it to power any new technology we develop, we should make an effort to recover as much as possible from UFOs and alien ground forces. So basically it's really important. And then there's alien alloy fabrication. Good news, Commander! I have developed a method of shaping captured alien alloys, allowing us to incorporate them into our designs for the first time. This is largely a result of tapping the vast reserves of energy locked inside our stores of Alenium, though the foundry possesses a little more complex than simply blasting materials with our upgrade laboratory lasers until they melt. For the sake of brevity, I will leave the explanation at that. Needless to say, this is a discovery of enormous significance. We can vastly improve the efficiency of our existing technology with alien materials, but they also open a door to ideas that seemed impossible only a few weeks ago. The frontiers of science have moved more in the past few months than they did in the previous century. Some of these alloys have properties that barely even exist in theoretical science. I must admit that my team are struggling with the pace of advance. We are sometimes as much limited by our scientific education as we are enlightened by it. The proposal for developing improved battlefield infantry armor with these materials may therefore seem a little underwhelming, but it marks only the start of what we can achieve. I would not be surprised if we were building whole vehicles or entire aircraft out of them soon. In the meantime, if you see any off-duty scientists strolling around the base, please remind them that they should be in bed, and that research materials should stay within the laboratory at all times. The number of unauthorized upgrades appearing across the base is matched only by the amount of yawning in my labs. So yes, technology. And we'll soon have like vehicles and other stuff to basically make use of. And a pulse laser. The purpose of the pulse laser is to produce a weapon that inflicts a maximum amount of damage possible per shot, creating an extremely powerful laser beam that is able to inflict heavy damage on any well-protected targets at great range. Aside from scaling the laser emitters up, we have further developed it to produce a beam of oscillating intensity switching between a high and low power levels thousands of times per second, rather than sustaining a uniform level of heat. The target suffers repeated pulses of intense heat that cause rapid fracturing of the surface material. As the surface materials breaks apart and disintegrate, this effect becomes even more pronounced, giving the pulse laser excellent armor penetration compared to standard lasers. We have developed a variant of a weapon small enough to be mounted on our Hunter Scout car that is available for immediate use in the garage. This is fitted with a battery that holds enough power for 8 shots and should substantially boost the combat effectiveness of the vehicle. We have also used the pulse laser to upgrade our base defense batteries, pulling power directly from the base reactors. They should greatly improve the chance of destroying and attacking extraterrestrial craft before it can unload ground forces. The retrofit is also well underway and should be complete by the time you read this. Any future defense batteries we construct will also incorporate laser technology into their design, at least until we develop something better. Alright, so that's all the Xenopedia stuff. So at this point, if you're going to basically stick around, I'm going to try and do a little bit to like manage my bases and such. Essentially, I've gone through this a little bit for my episodes and such, but I figure it's good to start doing this now off screen, I guess we'll say, in these Xenopedia notes. So that's what's going to happen right now. We're basically going to manage our bases and infantry and such. Now, I'm going to note something, by the way. At Beta Base here, I basically still have a lot of personality, personal capacity I can make use of. And something to note here, I noticed that with the storeroom, well, this storeroom, basically because it takes money to transfer stuff around, I don't want to actually be doing this, transferring stuff around from this base to the other one. So what I think about doing is I'm going to actually go to Beta Base, and we're actually going to just build a manufacturing depot, so shall we say, right here. So I'll go here and I'll build up a workshop to make use of over here. And along with it, we'll also build our radar array. And basically, this base will also function as a manufacturing area where we'll basically manufacture some stuff. I don't really worry about the scientists here. We'll get to these guys when we actually have them around, but we don't have them yet. Alright, so now at this point I basically have access to, another dropship here, I think. In 18 hours. I might just actually fast forward time just a little bit to see if I can get that. Oh, good. Wolf Battle Armor. I guess we'll read this while we're at it. So, the Wolf Battle Armor is a direct replacement for a Jackal Combat Armor, using the remarkable properties of alien alloys to provide extra protection to your men in combat. Each individual suit requires a large amount of money and alien alloys to fabricate in our workshops, but they should dramatically increase the combat effectiveness of your men. Wolf Armor consists of numerous parts: an armored helmet with reinforced visor, thick torso protection plates, armor pads for shoulder, elbow, and knee joints, plus ballistic gloves and combat boots atop a fire-resistant undersuit. Collectively, this offers dramatically improved resistance to injury. The centimeter-thick breastplate is capable of stopping a 50 caliber round at point-blank range. It is the equivalent of walking around with 3 inches of steel strapped to your chest. Both the plating and the undersuit have also been impregnated with dense network of ultrafine superconductor filaments, which absorb heat from the energy projectile and dissipate across the full surface of the armor, giving the soldier underneath a much improved chance of surviving the impact. None of this appears to have dramatically improved the mood of your soldiers. Indeed, I cannot recall a single smile from the miserable sods since the invasion began. It is almost as if they do not realize quite how difficult working in laboratories can be. A little more gratitude would hardly go amiss. So this is the Wolf Battle Armor, and this is what I was basically waiting for, researching basically on top of the basic armor, Jackal Combat Armor. This is your first real armor that you get, and as you can see, it basically gives you a lot of protection against stuff. And it doesn't weigh too much, to basically make use of. Essentially, it's double the weight of your basic armor, but it gives you a whole lot of, protection. So now I can get to the buzzard jump suit. That'll be nice. But we'll have these guys, I think, just work on this stuff for now. We'll get these done, and then we'll focus my guys elsewhere, the scientists. So that's quite nice. That was quite unexpected. I got myself access to that. And good, I got aircraft. Alright, so now I've got the Charlie, or the other Charlie, at Beta Base. Which means now I have an actual squad here to make use of. Charlie 2. Okay, so Charlie 2, who will you consist of? We're gonna throw in a captain for sure. The Rocket Man might be good to throw in. I'll throw in one of the shield guys, and I think I'll throw in the guy with less bravery for now. That's actually something to note. This guy with less bravery, do I really want him running around with a shield? One of the things about shields is that you don't want them running away, so this might be a good indication that this guy shouldn't be a shield. Might make this guy assault. Now let's focus on making this guy charge up at enemies and him and Lee. At least he's decent outside of the fact that he's got, you know, low reflexes and bravery, for the most part. I'll just make him have that much for now. Alright, I need to get the other shield in here. So you're going to be in Charlie. I got a lot of assaults in over here. But that's fine. One of these guys I can probably switch around as necessary, so... it's fine if they're like, you know, a lot of assaults. Alright, so 2 shields, a Rocketeer, and assault. Time to throw in some riflemen. So you'll go in there. You'll go in there. We'll throw you in there. I need to have one more. Guess we'll throw in the sniper. Alright, so I've got 6 guys in reserve here. I've got a couple riflemen, the sniper, got heavy weapons, a couple assaults. I think we'll maybe hire another rifleman if possible over here. So we'll have a look at the soldiers. This guy's not too bad, except he's got poor accuracy. But accuracy can be improved pretty quickly, at least. You're pretty good too. Let's hire these guys for this base for like rifleman purposes. And that'll be these guys. I'll just go through and now and make sure they're all equipped with like the proper stuff. I have to test out these rockets a little bit more, see how they work. Let's stick to one of these, because she's got really low TU. Guess we'll keep that C4. You know, maybe let's make this guy a rifleman, to be honest. Yeah, we're just gonna make this guy a rifleman. This guy will be my rifleman. And you can ditch one of these smoke grenades. And we'll have those guys ready to go. Alright, these guys over here. I've actually got another laser weapon to make use of here, so I should equip someone with a laser weapon. Or just send it over to our base. We'll make her use the laser weapon. I'll have to start making some pistols soon, too. Alright, these guys are more or less all set except for this guy. Alright, there we go. And let's go back to beta base, make sure the unassigned here already. Alright, all done. Alright, so I've got 2 assaults over here, a heavy weapons rifleman, a sniper, and a rifleman. I really should put one of these riflemen back into reserve, to be honest. I think I might put Corporal Robbins back in. Just so I can bring around one of the assaults. Make this guy go out, I guess. And I might hire some more guys over here. Yeah, let's hire a couple more guys. We'll hire... You're a little low on HP, but you're okay. I'll get him too. I think we're good, more or less, for our troops. Note that, by the way, I have Millennium missiles and Millennium torpedoes here for my, my Foxtrots. I guess we'll keep these guys with the heavier torpedoes and they'll be going after, like, the bigger craft. Be their plan. Still waiting on this stuff to be completed a little bit. Alright, Ufos Detected. At this point, I'm going to say that this will be the end of this, like, sort of like interlude episode where I like just doing breedings and stuff, and base management. Next time we'll jump back in, we'll be, battling this UFO here, I guess. So take care for now.